Welcome back to Pack Report, where we talk all things Packers. Today we're going to be going over the 2025 NFL schedule for the Green Bay Packers. We're going to be talking their floor and their ceiling, if everything went wrong, if everything goes right, what their record's going to be. So yeah, let's just get into it. To kick off the NFL season, we have the Detroit Lions at home. This is going to be a pretty big test for the Packers coming out of the gate. I feel like Matt LaFleur teams notoriously start pretty slow in my opinion. So I think we drop this game in the worst case scenario. The Lions are going to be a pretty good team regardless if their offense and defense coordinators left. They did promote within, so I think they're still going to be running kind of the similar things, and I think they're still going to be a good team because their roster is so good. So with the floor, I'm going to say we drop this game. Moving on to week 2 on a short turnaround on Thursday Night Football, we do have the Washington Commanders, a super improved team from a couple years ago after the drafting of Jaden Daniels. They did trade for stars like Deebo Samuel. Their defense is going to be pretty good as well, so this is going to be a very tough team. I believe we do drop this game as well. In week 3, we go on the road to Cleveland. I think this is where we get a bounce back win. The Browns are going to be a pretty bad team with their quarterback situation. The really only highlight on their team is probably Myles Garrett, so I just think that we're going to come out and get a dub here. There's really not too much else. I just don't think the Browns are going to be that good, and I think any situation the Packers basically come out on top. Week 4 on the road again in Jerry's world, we're going to be taking on the Dallas Cowboys. I know we've notoriously kind of listed Lambeau South for us, but I think we do drop this game. The Cowboys are still going to be a pretty good team trading for George Pickens with Dak being healthy. The running back situation isn't the greatest, but this is going to be a pretty solid squad in the NFC, and I could see us losing this game. Week 5, we do have a bye week, which is a pretty tough bye week early in the year. We're going to have a pretty long stretch of games going into that playoff run, so hopefully health is on our side. Moving on to week 6, we face the high-powered offense of the Cincinnati Bengals at home. The Packers, I think, will take this win in Lambeau. I just see this kind of being a shootout in most situations, but I think our defense will get more stops. That Bengals defense, especially if they don't sign Trey Hendrickson, is going to be abysmal, so I think we do come out on top on that one. Week 7, we go on the road to Arizona, and I think we do come out with this win against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to be pretty solid, I would say, with the drafting Will Johnson. They're kind of rebuilding their team on the defensive side, but I just don't think they have enough on offense. They have Marvin Harrison, they have Trey McBride. Kyler Murray's kind of up and down, but I just don't really think they have enough to hang with the Packers, so I think we do come out on top on that one. Week 8, going into Pittsburgh, facing our old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. I think we might take the L on this. The Steelers defense has always been amazing. All they really need is solid quarterback play, and they're going to be a playoff team. With the trading of DK Metcalf and the drafting of Caleb Johnson, I think their offense is going to be pretty solid as long as Aaron can stay healthy and even put up what he did last year with the Jets. I think this will be a playoff team. I think his season got overly hated on the Jets. If you go back and look at his numbers, it really wasn't that bad, so I think they're going to be a pretty solid unit. Back at home for week 9, playing the Carolina Panthers. I think this is an easy dub in my opinion. The Panthers are just not really there yet. This is a pretty struggling squad. They did draft Tech McMillan, and Bryce Young has been showing more promise, but I just don't think this team is really ready yet. Week 10 in Lambeau, we are going to be facing the loss we took in the playoffs to Philadelphia Eagles. I think we will lose this game. That Eagles team is just ridiculous in my opinion. Saquon, the best offensive line in football. You got 2 great receivers. You got Jalen Hurts and those rookie DBs that played lights out last year. That defense is really solid as well. The Eagles will probably be one of the NFC's best, and it's going to be a very tough game. So I think we will lose this game. Week 11, onto the worst field in the NFL at MetLife, facing the Giants. I think we take this dub. Jackson Dart might be the starter by then, in my opinion. But yeah, that Giants defense, their defensive line is very good, but their DBs are kind of suspect, and I don't really think they have a great running game. They have Malik Neighbors, but that's really it. They just have Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors on offense. Their offensive line isn't the greatest either, so I think the Packers come out on top. Week 12, our first matchup against the Vikings at home. I think we will take this L here. I think we're going to split with the Vikings. It's kind of a toss-up. It kind of seems like in past we've kind of flipped who wins the most. Like they win in Green Bay, we win in Minnesota. So that's kind of what I went with here. How JJ McCarthy is to be determined, and that could really alter the fate of the NFC North in my opinion. If he's going to be great, it's going to really change everything, and if he's bad, it's going to do the same as well. Week 13 in Detroit. I think we do get swept by the Lions in this scenario. I think people are kind of overreacting to the OC and DC loss. I mean, obviously Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, great coaches, and that is going to be a little bit of a loss, but I just don't think it's going to be that big of a drop off with the culture they have and the roster they have. This is reasonable that we could get swept by the Detroit Lions, so that's what I have for week 13. Week 14 against the Bears in Lambeau. I think we take this dub. The Bears are the Bears. I don't really care that they got Ben Johnson. I think we at least split with them in the worst case scenario, so I do have us taking the one in Lambeau. Week 15 against the Denver Broncos. I think I have this losing this game in Denver. That defense is going to be pretty ridiculous, I believe, and Bo Nix was pretty solid last year. So I just think another season under Sean Payton in that offense. The Denver Broncos are honestly going to be pretty solid, and I think they're definitely a playoff team. Week 16, I have us splitting with the Bears. This is the worst case scenario. We split with them last year, so it's not unreasonable to think that. I have us losing the one in Chicago, week 16. That could be a determining one depending on the situation, but in this situation, I think we'd be out of the playoffs at this point. Week 17 in Lambeau versus the Ravens. This is going to be a really tough game. The Ravens team is going to be disgusting. That run game with Lamar, Derrick Henry, and that defense is really nice. The Ravens are all around a really good squad, so I have us losing in Lambeau. Week 18, I have us beating the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Like I said earlier, I had us splitting with the Vikings, splitting with the Bears, and getting swept by the Lions. This is, I believe, the floor of the Packers. It's 7-10. This is kind of everything goes wrong. Injuries. I mean, we will miss the playoffs at 7-10. This is the floor for the Packers, I believe. I don't think we go worse than 7-10, but I could see a route with how tough the schedule is that we could end up missing the playoffs and going 7-10. All right, on to the ceiling, on to the better note, on to the more positives. This is how I see if everything goes right what the Packers could be. So coming on week 1, I have us beating the Lions in Lambeau. We start off hot. That Lions team could struggle out the gate just trying to get used to those new coaches, and I could see us taking that win week 1 in Lambeau. Week 2, I still have us losing to the Commanders. I just think we're not good short turnaround team, and I think that Commanders team is really good, so I do have us losing that game either way. I just don't really like how we perform on short weeks, so I do have us losing this game. Week 3 in Cleveland, I still have us taking this dub. Cleveland's going to be really bad, so like I said before, this is going to be a win. Week 4 in Lambeau South, playing the Cowboys. I do have us taking this win. I believe we will beat the Cowboys. We kind of just do that. We just kind of had their number in the past, and I think they're going to be pretty decent. I think we should come out on top, and I do have us beating the Cowboys. Week 5 bye, terrible bye. I've said that before. Coming off the bye week, we do have the Cincinnati Bengals. I do have us taking this win, like I said before. Their defense is just not good enough to stop the Packers offense, and I believe our defense will get some stops in that game, so I have us taking that win in week 6. Week 7 in Arizona, I have us taking this win as well. Week 8 going into Pittsburgh, I believe I have Jordan Love taking down Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a crazy game either way, and I kind of hope they both play well, but the Packers come out on top. Week 9, I have us beating the Panthers. I had that on the last one. I just think the Packers beat the Panthers either way, so I have us taking that win. Week 10, I have us still losing to the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to be really good, and I think we have a chance to win this game. I just see us losing it. We might see that in the playoffs and get our get back, but I think I have us losing week 10. Week 11, I have us beating the Giants. They're not a very good football team. Week 12, I have us beating the Minnesota Vikings in Lambeau. The Vikings are going to be pretty solid, but I have us winning that. Week 13, I have us splitting with the Lions. To me, it's the Lions and the Packers for the race for the NFC, so I have us splitting with them. Week 14 in Lambeau, I have us beating the Bears. Week 15, I think we could beat that Denver Broncos defense. I think we could give their offense some trouble if Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, and if our pass rush is getting home. I think we could present some problems for their offensive line. Week 16, I have us sweeping the Bears. We should sweep the Bears this year. I really hope we do. I just think that we are a class above the Bears. That could be age-old. Packers just think the Bears are the Bears, but until proven otherwise, that's just kind of what I think. We hear this every year, off-season champions, that the Bears are going to be something different. So until I see it, I do have a sweep in the Bears. Week 17, which will be a huge game. I have these teams being very even at that point. The Ravens are going to be a really good team. This would be a huge game. I would assume they move this to Sunday night, Monday Night Football. I still have the Ravens coming out on top. I just think their run game is going to be a little too much with Lamar. We do have a little bit of trouble with running quarterbacks, so I could see Lamar being a huge problem for us. So I do have us dropping this one in week 17. Week 18, I do have us sweeping the Vikings, coming out on top. I mean, depending on seeding, we could sit players for this game, but I believe we would play and we would win. So that would have us going 5-1 in the division. A complete flip from last year. We went 1-5, but I just kind of hear them repeating that over and over, and I can tell that's a point of emphasis this year. So I think there's absolutely no world we go 1-5 in the division again, and I do see us going 5-1. all best case scenarios in the division, and 13-4, everything goes right. The Green Bay Packers ceiling would be 13-4. Hopefully that's good enough to win the NFC North. We would have a home playoff game, and we would be pretty high in the NFC. I would guess the 1 or 2 seed, depending on the Eagles. So we could be having a week 1 bye and home field throughout the playoffs, and I don't think that's out the realm of possibility. Just to wrap up the video, I have us at the floor at 7-10. Worst case scenario, the Packers will miss the playoffs, and that would be a pretty unfortunate year, but I think all things go wrong, that is possible. And then at the ceiling, I have our best case scenario going 13-4, most likely a first seed, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and we could make a really deep run for the bowl. I do believe this team's good enough as long as some things fall into place, as long as the pass rush gets home and some players take some steps. I don't think that's insane to say. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's Pack Report. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have their floor and their ceiling be. Let me know if I'm kind of going crazy, if you guys see it a different way. Just let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.